And we're live. Alrighty then. Welcome back to J&J Monday on a Sunday with special guest Punchy, Omar, Josh, my regular host with a hat of the Minions. Hey, hello.
Yo!
What it be, gentlemen?
What?
What's it be? What's it be indeed? Now, this is like a makeup episode. I didn't put part three, part two, part one. It's 1.2 because, like I said a few weeks ago, New York City decided to lose their internet connection on the Wi-Fi universe, and that pretty much messed up every cafe, every place. So we're gonna make this stuff up. I didn't want to do this episode without having my man from the European area, Punchy, to join in because he's a great debater. He's not afraid to share his own opinion. And then when it comes to this topic, it's always best to have people from the other side of the ocean to express their opinion. So this is not a part two. It's actually still part one with a point two on it because that episode has been scratched, lost, gone forever. And we're gonna start off right here. Now, at the end, we got to talk about a couple movies. As usual, there's some screen rumors that's going to be happening. We're going to get our opinion on that, including something that I don't know if you heard about yet, Punchy. It's going to be in your theaters first, or it'll probably be on TV, but it will be here in theaters in a more section, and that is the new Sherlock Holmes movie that has a twist to it. A very interesting twist.
Are there aliens?
No, this
Is
is
it not the Sherlock Holmes? Is it not? Are you talking about the this Christmas special that is of the Sherlock TV series where they're
no.
going?
It starred old Magneto as Sherlock
Oh
Holmes.
yes, yeah, that's good. There's a lot of Sherlock stuff going on now. It's all good. It's nice to see that you Americans are finally appreciating our literature. Um, Here's the thing though, I can't wait to. I don't know. It's like there's a soul split in me. I don't know what I'm gonna do because in my mind there are so many different versions of Sherlock I'm in love with now. I love the book version, but I also love the Sherlock TV version. But I love the elementary US version. But then again, I'm gonna love the Ian McKellen version because Ian McKellen is fucking awesome. What do I do? I don't know what to do in my life anymore.
Well,
So you,
my
so you heard
thing,
about the movie?
I have, yes.
Yes. So we will talk a little bit about that.
my
Can we just
lane
do
of
that?
my
Perfect casting.
my
Perfect.
my one Sherlock was the Sherlock I was first introduced to. I can't remember the actor's name. It was an old TV series,
Russell Rackbone?
probably. I don't know. I have like a collection of DVDs of the entire series. Like,
Oh my
My,
God.
my first Sherlock was that Basil like rat fellow. It was that movie
Yeah,
of.
Russell Rackbone. His name is so hard to pronounce. His name. I
I
got
feel
introduced.
so bad I can't remember him because it's like you're the one that made me start to, like this character. You're the one now. There can be a million other Sherlocks, but you're going to be the one.
Well, mine will always be Jeremy Brett.
No,
Even though I was
Jeremy Fred might have been it. I think that was it.
Jeremy Brett was my favorite. Even though he wasn't the one that introduced me to Sherlock Holmes, it was actually Ian Richards who played not Sherlock Holmes, but the person who was modeled after him, and that was Bell. They actually had a TV series called Murder Room, and I actually loved that series, and that's when I started watching Sherlock Holmes series from Jeremy Brett. But Jeremy Brett nailed the character well. But we got plenty of time to talk about that because
I got
we are not going to lead off topic here. We don't want to get off topic here. Um, I might as well just say right now I got a list of things we're talking about. Um, First things first, we mentioned before our brief stop about horror films and how, in my opinion, they gave teenagers a bad name because in horror film they always had them either doing drugs, sex is always the main thing, and it's like teenagers don't all think like this. In fact, they really you'd be surprised at how teenagers think about when it comes
wait,
to a
you
topic.
don't think about sex?
Not the way that Hollywood chose it.
I know, I know.
I mean, what's your feeling about that, Omar?
First of all, I just want to quickly apologise. I'm a little ill right now. That said, I have taken a fucking cocktail of drugs, so in about 5 minutes, I'm going to stop being ill and start being absurdly high. It's already happening. I can feel it. I can feel medicine force my body into adrenaline-powered power. Um, Side note, basically the answer to that question is, I think the thing about Hollywood is Hollywood runs on cliches and stereotypes. It always picks the cliched stereotype of what it's going to do. Like, oh, we could make an interesting new movie, but actually, let's just have one interesting new movie this year, and everything else will be shite. Horror movies are like a representative of this more than anything else. You get one good new horror movie every 10 years. The rest is just remakes, 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 or a repulling of another of the same old shitty stereotype. And the sex thing, it's just how it is. It comes from a time when that was the case, and it just hasn't left. I don't think, and I think those kind of thoughts are kind of deeply embedded in public psyche and consciousness, and we don't let go of them. We just assume
I think
that
it's
that's how it
sort
should
of
be.
the social taboo on sex that makes that the main crime of why people die in horror movies. This to say sex is bad, don't have sex.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, I'll say this: the one thing that I have noticed is that they at least don't represent good sex. It's not like they're going like, look at this married couple who are being very nice and are in a completely cool monogamous relationship. They died. They're not doing that. They're saying, look at these two random teenagers who are clearly having a one-night stand in the middle of a graveyard. They're idiots and they're gonna die for it. Now, whereas I agree they're idiots, I don't think they should die for it. But they are idiots. We gotta admit that. If you're two random teenagers banging some person you barely even know, you're probably gonna get a disease. Maybe, you might not. But at the same time, if you do it in a graveyard, well, fuck you then. You're an idiot. And if you get haunted, you kind of deserve it. I don't care if old man Michael
I
the
think
Nazi starts haunting you after that. You banged on his grave.
I'm just thinking of zombies rising from the grave as they're doing it now. I may need to write that.
Oh, God, dude.
What?
Dude, that's not. But yeah, what was I going to say? I think the problem is, and I think we have to recognize here, is that there's a disconnect between movies and reality. Much like people, like you don't go around complaining about the horrific shit that's in horror movies, like people get their balls cut off, eyes ripped out, shit, horrifying shit happens. We don't complain about that most of the time. It's what we expect. It's a horror movie. It's disconnected from reality. That doesn't happen. Not usually, anyway. Same with sex. That kind of sex doesn't exist in real life. I have not known anyone who's thought, hey, let's go to a haunted house, and half of two decided, hey, I know we're at a haunted house. How about we just stop this haunted house experience where we're pissing ourselves and just go bang in that extremely scary, excluded area where we'll almost certainly be killed? Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. Whereas sex that is, probably not a good idea happens. I think it's nowadays it's a lot rarer than it used to be. This generation is more safe in sex than we've ever been. I mean, it's amazing, and I feel like people don't recognize that, and the movies are representative of time that no longer exists, and stereotypes of that time, nonetheless. So it's like 50 years ago, this is a stereotype we had of sex. It wasn't even that bad 50 years ago, and it's just stayed. You know what I mean? It's like it's the sex equivalent of the sound thing. You know how in movies they make fake sounds for several things, like if you punch someone, they make a fake noise for it. Uh, the reason they do that is because moviegoers are so used to it that they get unnerved every time they hear the true noise. If you hear how Punch actually sounds, it doesn't sound anything how you like. It's like, that's not Punch, no.
Sound design is its own separate thing where if I could work on any part of a movie, it would be the sound because those people can be extremely creative in like how they make sounds. It's it's
So,
amazing.
so the question is that stereotype still existing, or has they finally removed that slowly from movies, or is it never going to be removed from movies because that's what you just said can distinguish between fantasy and reality?
I think it's gonna stay for at least a while. I think every time a new good horror movie comes out, it changes a little bit and it leans more towards a new style. But it's gonna stay for a while, and that doesn't exist in reality. That stereotype, it's gone. Like I said, that isn't just a stereotype; it's a stereotype people had 50 years ago. It's a real old one. Um, and yeah, it's gonna go. I think we see it often. Every couple of years, a new horror movie comes out that's a little different from the general shite. Then the next slew of horror movies are all a little more similar to that. Like there was Insidious and now movies are a little more like that. There's Oculus and now movies are coming a little more like that. That's something that happens. I think over time it will slowly change, but it's a slow one. And I don't think the general onslaught of shitty horror movies is ever really going to change.
Interesting. Josh, got anything you want to say about that? You'll share your own feelings on because you watch because horror films have become sci-fi now. We've seen
Well,
it now. The sci-fi and horror is actually put together now.
sci-fi is a large genre that has a shitload of subgenres, so it's not like horror movies have become sci-fi. There's just been maybe a greater deal of sci-fi meshing with horror.
Because
They're sort
listen,
of genres that mix and mash.
yeah, I was about to say that. I don't think sci-fi is. I almost don't like calling it a genre because it's such a wide term. Anything could be science fiction, you know. Like you can apply that to anything to get anything to work. Like zombie movies could be sci-fi technically.
Well, it's
Science fiction,
sci-fi.
but fiction.
Zombies can be sci-fi depending on how they're created. If it's some science reason, like a virus or disease or someone like made it, therefore science. But if like the Walking Dead's walkers are science fiction, while you can have a more fantasy element, therefore removing the sci-fi.
Yeah,
So
I
the
guess
only
most of these we lean towards
solid
sci-fi.
category you can place zombies in is horror. Besides that, it can go either fantasy or sci-fi.
But the thing
So
about
here's the
sci-fi, you
so
apply to everything, can it? Because like, I think it does often. I think the reason is people prefer it to make sense. Like, I'm more scared of a zombie that could possibly exist than a zombie that would definitely never exist. You know what I mean?
so
Uh,
Josh, what's your feeling on horror and how they describe sex in horror?
I just I'm a big B horror movie fan, so I've watched like a lot more B movie horrors than the high class like Psycho and such. But it really depends. One horror movie I liked, a B movie, of course. Call of the Wolf. I can't remember when it was made, but there wasn't a real like sexual scene thing for that. It was basically a girl werewolf running away from her pack. That so sometimes it does involve sex. Sometimes it's like then another B movie, Awaken the Dead. Can't remember when that was made. There are two characters. It's one of those sappy romances where you sort of sappy involving zombies, where two characters, fall in love, but for movies like uh, the original Friday the 13th and those movies where there's a morality placed on sex, those whole movies where you don't have sex in this movie or you'll die. Why are you having sex? So it seems like it's more of a morality issue of don't have premarital sex. Premarital sex is bad. You'll die. And
I think
in
I
The
think it's
Cabin in the Woods by one of Josh Whedon's films, they sort of make a joke at the virgin stereotype, saying, "Yeah, we have to." Long story short, uh, there's a ceremony performed like each year where the horror cliches are acted out. So you need the jock, you need the stoner, etc. And for the virgin, they're like, well, nowadays we just do with the best we can do, implying that virgins are hard to come by nowadays.
Well, that's interesting. I
It's basically
really
how
didn't
you
heard about
do
the
it.
one. But like I said, it may be just me. I had a serious, very serious hatred for horror films, especially during the last leg of the '80s, because it was like, okay, you have Freddy, you have Jason, and there was really nothing else in between. And the horror that did came out, either 2/3 of your dialogue was cursing, drugs, and sex. Nothing else whatsoever. You basically was just there to see somebody get chopped up, and that was it. Um,
You know what was a good
two,
movie with them, by the way? I don't think
mhm.
many people like this, but I thought Freddy versus Jason was awesome.
And Jason was a horrible film, but was funny to watch.
It was good. I just think it wasn't a good film in terms of, oh, it's a cinematic masterpiece. But I
No,
tell you
it
what, I
was.
had fucking fun watching that movie.
It was exactly. I enjoyed Freddy making jokes and seeing him fight Jason, but everything else was just, come on. they made fun of themselves in that film. So it was like it was not. They knew it was a bad film from the beginning. Um, but like I said, it was just the main problem I think I had with it is that they gave teenagers, and not just horror films. I might be fair. TV shows to an extent did this. Other teen films, the ones that the ones that I like the least did this. They gave teenagers a real bad light where even it reflected terribly on society because a lot of if you ask people back then they didn't want to be around children because they felt they were arrogant all they thought about was sex this and that and like just hate the movies we're aware of it and I think the AIDS crisis which was a very serious thing back in the 80s very serious you started seeing smart films started coming out and say hey this if you do this there's going to be consequences, and the consequences could be life threatening. I gotta praise again Molly Wingwall, the queen of teens in terms of films. She made one film that really spoke out to the situation of the AIDS crisis. 21 Jump Street had a PSA, one of the few PSAs I actually liked. They did a good job of that. But it always seemed like that Hollywood, in terms of big screen, they want to make the change in that time, but they really don't want to make a change. It's almost like they're always fighting to try and say, well, how can we change this without really changing this? And you really
The
can't.
thing with movies is that it's a business, so if they have a successful formula, of course they won't want to be messing around with that too much.
But yeah, at the same time, if you look at some of the films, even to now, they do have a political message. It's because they haven't been there. They do have a hidden political message. Like I already know by watching a Michael Bay film that he's a Republican. Straight,
America.
he's a Republican, and he makes no bones about it. He just don't come out and say, "Yeah, I'm a Republican." So what? He shows it in different ways. Uh, but this brings me to the second question, and we had a discussion of this before we was cut off. We're gonna finish the discussion, okay?
Are you
We're not.
sure?
No, we have to finish the discussion because you two was getting at it, and I was just sitting back and just listening to both of you guys.
Oh God, raise my blood pressure.
Here it is. Why is are we as a society are more sensitive and more willing to censor films of sexual nature than violence?
Sex
You
is a
waste.
biological act on the same level as pooping. Violence is a thing that happens due to some other story thing, and is not in terms of itself isn't exist for its own point. It's kind of to get a point across. Something that happens because of it. Sex is its own thing. Sex has its own purpose. You don't watch it for its own purpose. Why do you want to watch that? It has no purpose for being there. You know what I mean? You can not see sex have the exact same effect on the future of the movie. However, if you take the violence out, people lose some investment. If you don't see the main character being beaten violently by the bad guy, you're not going to get much satisfaction from seeing him then violently beat the bad guy afterwards. However, if you take out the weird sex scene or the upside down kiss with the nipples showing, one does not lose enjoyment in the movie. One, in fact, gains a bit more enjoyment, and your people of a younger age can then start watching it. There we go.
All right, hold on a second. I had to turn on this thing on. This is the reason why I don't have me on the thing because I got a cafe. I got a cafe brewing over here. All right, you said that so fast. I barely understood what you were saying.
Good. He was saying something dumb, so good.
No, no, he was ready for this. You were ready for that question, but you said it so quickly. I'm like, wow.
You're the flash
Oh,
there, Omar. I have a
oh my god! I had to turn, I had to literally turn back on my camera. I'm like, wow, you said that in less than a minute. I was
Okay. Let me try again slowly.
slowly.
Right. First of all, sex is a biological act. Okay? It is the same act on the level as eating and pooping. Okay? It is something we need to do to survive. It continues on the human race. Okay? That's something we do to survive. It's a biological imperative. Okay? Now, asking that question is akin to asking the question, why don't we have long scenes of us eating food or shitting? Having a long sex scene
Sex
not
isn't
very
just
different
a
from being a man
biological
sitting on a chair eating
function.
food for a
There
long
are
time.
certain
there we go.
people, they just don't have it to reproduce. Sometimes it is just
No, just because you
for
can't
fun.
doesn't mean you
It's not
shouldn't.
just a biological
I don't
action.
have to be
Here
It's
we
down with
go.
it.
about
It's
how
okay.
you look
Okay.
at it and your own personal opinions. It
No,
shouldn't
no, it's not
matter.
personal preference. It's biological fact. We have it. Okay, if you remove all parts of our brain, at the end, we still need to do those things because it keeps us alive. Okay, the human race would die
Not
if we didn't die
everyone
at some
has to
point.
have sex for the human race to survive.
No, but we want to. We want to, but we still in the end have to. It's still, its very base is a biological imperative. Trust me, if we didn't need to do have sex to survive, sex wouldn't be fun because it served no purpose. Understand? That's the thing. It wouldn't serve a purpose then. So, sex,
For some
like I said,
people, it
is a
doesn't serve a
biological
purpose at
imperative, and because
all.
of that, it's not something we should show because it's not something that matters to the story. Sex very rarely matters. I'm
You
not
don't
saying it
need to
doesn't
show
occasionally.
extreme violence to get to the story. You don't need to show extreme sex, but it's just like there are people are more twitchy about showing sex than violence, and they prefer to show more extreme sex than a loving couple, having sex, and it's a double standard. You
Well,
don't
actually,
need to show
the second
extreme
one I
in
agree
either
with is weird,
direction,
but I
but
haven't
people
seen
are
many
more willing to show extreme violence than extreme sex.
No, wait, whereas I agree with the second one that it's weird that they don't show loving couples as opposed to the extreme one. That is weird. I agree. Um, that said, I boil that one down to marketing. Most of these movies are going to go for teenagers, right? And teenagers aren't thinking lovey-dovey. They're thinking bang, bang, bangity, bang, 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 bangity, bang, 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 bangity, bang, bang. That's what they're thinking. Okay, so they don't care about the lovey-dovey. That causes them to go ick. Um, but in the end, sex is still a biological imperative. It's weird to show so much of it. Whereas I don't mind it being in movies, I feel like it should be kept to a minimum, kept to a point that, like, and they had sex. Moving on. Because we don't need to see it. I mean, it's like saying some guy ate, but we have to see, like, what, a 10-minute scene of him eating?
Oh God, talking about
Wait,
the
no. You
eating
said
thing,
before that
I
we
just
don't
want to
have
bring
to eat
this
to,
point
we don't
up.
have to have
Okay,
sex to
this
survive,
is
right?
like
We don't have to eat to
totally
survive, but we
a
want to do it more anyway.
All right. Hold on. Okay. This is getting interesting. All right. I'm hearing both of you. I'm hearing both of you, and I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, and I do agree that you don't need to go extreme to tell a story. My thing about it, and I say is that there is a double standard. There's no question about it because here's the thing: you're telling me that that the side is perfectly fine with seeing a guy's head blown off, a man's limbs getting torn to pieces, a man in Texas getting ripped out. But when it comes to the thing, oh, we can't show too much of that. We
let's not
But
show
there are two differences. There are two
couple.
differences. No,
hold on,
there are
how's that different though?
there
Yeah,
are two
there's
very
no.
big
It's
differences.
just like we'll show this extreme violence, but dear Lord, we can't show a woman's O face.
No, because there are two very, very big differences. Um, the sex thing, sex is once again a biological imperative. It's like shitting. It's weird. It's just weird. We are inbuilt to not feel. Not most people don't feel a bit odd doing that. Like it's just a bit of a little feeling down under like this random. We didn't grow up as a human race and just invent that sort of sex was something we should hide. It's something that was in there under us as a biological thing. Something in the back of our head. Something that's part of us. Second thing with
What's the
violence.
difference between
Oh,
a
it's very important. It's very
decapitation
important.
and a
Shush your face.
woman's
Shush
O
your face.
face?
It's very
Tell
important.
me.
That-
Listen. The violence part. You're right. Technically, it is a double imperative. Sorry, a double thing. But here's the thing. When you see a sex scene on the screen, you're seeing the woman and the guy often, making the movements. Sometimes you see skin. Either way, you see two real people doing that. When you see violence on the screen, I'm not seeing real blood. I'm not seeing the dude's head fall off his head. I'm seeing something that's plastic. I know it's not real. I can separate that from
Do you
reality.
know
We all do.
like sex
It's very
scenes
easy.
like in
My
some
little
movies
fingers can look
are
I
faked. It's
know it's
like
not real because I
like
know.
sex scenes on TV. It's like, oh, you can move in this sort of way, and it's really insane. Like you have to show that it's sex, but you can't really be showing like it. You just need to look it up yourself. It's like one of these crazy, insane things I can't
So
properly explain.
so Punchy. Here's the thing. You in jolly old Europe, London, England. I'm assuming. Um, how conservative are they when it comes to sexuality in their movies?
It's almost a weird 50-50 situation. We as a people are actually quite conservative, but our movies have a 50-50 split of kind of like complete, like nothing, no sex in them at all, to absolute casual, almost bluntness about it, you know what I mean? But I think that's because of the way our cinema works. Like, we often have a lot of dark movies, very grimy, gritty realities. You know what I mean? Because that often, like, there was a period in England where like shit got real. You know what I mean? During the Thatcher era, like it wasn't very good living here. Like it was a very dark place to live, and because of that, we have a very grimy outlook on the world. Like we're a cynical lot, basically. And so when we have sex in movies, we have it as a very cynical, realistic thing. We don't pretend it's some like big thing. We don't have a big sex scene. Like oftentimes I watch movies. Sometimes it can just be flash frame. They're banging, flash frame. They were done. There we go. You know what I mean?
Have a
Not
film ever been banned because of that?
yeah. It's a thing. But we're very split. Like though that exists, my parents would never watch that. They'd be like, "The fuck is this shite?"
What movie? What?
The parents would never watch a film with too much sex in it,
Ah,
or none at all.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, preferable. It's often preferable that the sex scenes are light because, I mean, like I said, sex isn't something that you need. Like you don't go to a movie to be turned on. You go to watch an interesting story and become invested. The sex, if it's there, has two purposes. One, to either be shown to be casual or shown to be romantic. And you can do those two things without actually showing a big ass sex scene. Like I don't mind them hinting or like having a quick like, and they made love or they fell back onto the bed and slow flash them out of there. You know what I mean? But why go further than that? You don't need to do it.
some
It's ludicrous.
some
It seems
So
movies
what?
obnoxious. Like you don't
aren't
need to
meant
go
So
that
to
far.
titillate.
all
Aren't
right,
just
Josh,
for
go
the
ahead.
story.
Pardon?
50 Shades.
So, Josh, so do you have your own opinion on what he just said? Because you, you're just staying very quiet.
I'm sorry. I'm letting the speaker speak.
No, go ahead. I
It's
want to hear your opinion.
I it's the thing with movies is it's not always about the story. There can be Michael Bay movie, just watch an explosion. You shouldn't really care shit about the story that much. You just want to see funny things happening. It's really all movies aren't the same. There are different genres. There are different subgenres. So yes, some movies would be there to titillate more so than the actual story. With the story just being there to connect events.
You just dug your own grave. I'm about to go for a critical hit right here. Ah, yeah. Okay. So, would you say that those scenes, that basically those scenes are there to titillate, correct? Which means you say that the sex scenes are there to basically titillate. So, here's the fundamental difference between
Can you
violence in
start from
movies
the
and
beginning? You are
sex.
speaking too
Violence, you're not meant to
fast.
like. You're not meant to see the violence and think, oh, damn, that gory face, I want to put my dick in it. No, you're meant to think, oh, God, that's horrifying, shut away. Whereas with sex,
What the
you're
fuck?
meant to
Can
think,
you
oh, I
start
want to
from the
put my
beginning?
dick.
I didn't hear your start. I
Okay, I'm not
can't hear you digging my own grave.
back to the start. Okay, back to the start. I got excited at winning. So, basically, if these scenes are meant to titillate, then you can't say that violence
I'm
is.
not talking about just I'm talking about the whole movie as a whole is supposed to titillate, not just
Yes,
in.
but that's your purpose. If you say if it's not for story, then it has to be there
No,
to titillate, correct?
it depends on the movie and what it's going for, the genre, the
Give me.
subgenre.
Okay, here's the thing. I agree that sometimes, very rarely, sex might serve a purpose. Like there was a movie called The House on the Left or something, like Last House on the Left,
Oh
and they
God,
had
yeah,
a
I have it. I have the one with the guy Aaron Paul. I have that.
yeah
Now,
horrible,
now,
horrible.
Punchy. I was gonna say, Punchy, be careful what you put in there because you do realize that film was not well received by audience and fans. So
I
just
like
give
to
you a
No,
know
heads
it's a
up.
horrible
God with
movie.
the head
It's a
exploding
horrible
in the
movie.
microwave.
Listen though, that movie was terrible. That movie was bad. But it had one of the worst rape scenes I've ever seen. You know what I mean? It disgusted me. But that I would say was, ironically, in a terrible movie, a good use of sex. It was horrifying, but it made me hate those villains to such an incredible degree that I sat through that awful movie just to see them be hurt in horrific ways. I was like, I don't care if this movie's terrible, I just want to see them be hurt.
Yeah,
I don't
the
care.
thing with sex scene in that movie. Okay, this might be a little long, but that's that was not meant to titillate. That was made to hate, and I believe the original movie because the one with Aaron Paul is a remake. I think the whole sex scene in the original might have been longer, or at least was something definitely that was talked about back in the day.
I've seen it, the original. Yes, the original is truly
So
it's horrifying in an entirely different way. It's horrifying in a, this is clearly meant for someone to jack off to. This is meant to titillate. I'm meant to be aroused right now. And I give that as that's a numero uno example of what happens if you go too far on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you
because
go
for
too far
me,
with gore, you get horrifying movies that are pretty terrible to watch. Okay, at the same time, they're tolerable because it's fake. But when you watch those movies, there's something entirely different about it. Something so visceral and like grim, and I just, ew, you know what I mean?
for me personally, any sex that turns me on has to be consensual. I can't like rape, like just that actually sends me into a little panic attack, like physically, like my heart rate goes up, and yeah.
I don't blame you. It's horrifying. Who does?
So,
Here's the thing.
this is very interesting. So we can both agree, and I agree with both of you too, is that even though despite how bad this movie is,
I like it.
whether the remake or the original, both of them were pretty much on the same boat in terms of reaction. The film, in a crazy way, have done its job getting a reaction. It's not a positive reaction, but it made you get an emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a positive reaction. That is an understatement.
that was a powerful use of it. You know what I mean? Like it was a powerful use of sex in the right manner. Well, not in the right manner, but in the right manner for a movie. Um, Like I think this is why I don't mind sex being in movies if it serves a purpose like that. If it serves a true purpose, like is the sex there to do what? Is it there to make us hate someone? Is it there to help leave us feeling fulfilled that the main couple got together in the end? In that case, I agree. But if it's meant to leave us fulfilled, we don't need to be titillated by it. I don't need to leave out there like with a heart full of happiness and an erection. I just need to leave there with a heart full of happiness. Like, okay, the main couple got together. I'm happy about this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like. It's the thing. I've never had, I've never had a properly emotional investment in a movie with a massive sex scene. Like I've noticed that. I can't remember anything that are really good, and I think that's because if a massive sex scene's in there, the people who made this movie, they've not thought about this movie as a storytelling experience. They've thought, okay, probably no one's going to come to watch this. Let's put boners in it and see if we can get people to watch. You know what I mean? Lars von Trier is a holy god of this concept. That okay, no one's going to watch this movie, but if we get people actually boning in it, like fully on a banging, maybe we'll get people to watch.
Yeah,
Hell, it works.
I admit that sometimes the sex selling is, yeah, it's like 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't seen the movie. I don't plan to. I might if someone's watching it and I'm drunk. But I read all three of the books, and the whole thing was the whole trilogy. There was supposed to be, oh, the thing is sex, sexy sex, and the sex is like, I write better sex in my sleep.
Not in that. It's a fucking
And then the story is horrible, and then fans of the trilogy are like, well, we actually read it for the romance. I'm like, what romance?
bullshit.
I know. I just don't get it when people defend it like that way. It's like,
So,
no, it's because let's admit it, 99.9% of people pick it up because they're like, oh, this is supposed to be extreme sex.
well, they're all tastes, and people have their own taste. I can't knock
Some
that, but
people have bad taste. God.
but here's the thing. Now, we all have our own feelings about. I'm like this. It depends on the film and what they're doing. To me, showing too much of a sex scene, it could be gratuitous and even boring. I mean, this is all this film got to offer. Come on. But if the film serves a particular purpose, good or bad, like I said before, we're last a few weeks ago. I think Shame did a terrific job of showing an addiction and how it could be self-destructive. And yeah, it was an adult movie. It was NC-17, but they use the sex scene as part of the story, showing this man's downward spiral to destruction. Um, there is one thing though that people can never give me a straight up answer, and these are the same people who says we shouldn't have this in theaters. This is not appropriate. If that's the case, why is the porn industry a multi-billion-dollar industry?
Well, you got to realize here. With my opinion and with Josh's opinion, I think we're both fairly sensible about it. I think we're both leaning on the inside. We all realize that there are, circumstances where we're wrong. But I think there are some people who are so up in their own opinion or base their opinion on other stuff like religion, etc., that makes it so that their opinion becomes something that they have to abide by. And if something goes against it, they will fight against it. And that's the kind of people you do. And you really just gotta ignore those kind of people because they're few and far between, and those who do exist are utter idiots, frankly. So just ignore them. Like I
Josh is
disagree with a
quiet.
lot of sex in movies, but like I mean even if I don't think it's good to be there, I'm not gonna say end the show. Like I think Game
Mhm.
of Thrones has like way too much sex. It's
Oh,
pointless.
I like the point you brought up the first time we tried to do. What sound was that?
What are you
That's
talking
a
about?
show.
Oh, the little kid in the background.
Yes,
It
that's the
sounded like a little
microphone.
dinosaur for a second. But anyways, what the fuck was I saying?
Game of Thrones.
Okay, Game of Thrones. I remember last time we tried to do this, Omar, you mentioned the whole scene where, in the brothel and these two girls are, practicing and
This
it's
dude just
like
talking. There's two people in the background just banging.
it's and I think
What the
sometimes they
fuck is
actually
the point of
focus
that?
on them too as the conversation is going and it's just
It was like,
I'm more
here's the thing. I had to watch that scene 5 times. I was like, okay, this time I'm gonna hear what he's saying. I'm gonna hear what boobs. This time I'm gonna hear
I
what he's saying.
could
I'm gonna hear
hear.
boobs. This time
Just
I'm gonna hear
just
boobs.
close your eyes. Turn
Dude, that's what
away.
he never had to do. I want to point out, it wasn't even titillating for me because there was something horrifying about it. Like, this is wrong. This is weird to me. This is
I
two
didn't
people being
find it
paid to bang
weird
each
or
other in
wrong.
front
I
of this
found
one
it
weird guy. Ew.
unneeded. I found it
I,
an unneeded part of the scene.
I didn't though. I felt like it didn't make sense to me. I understood I understood that the dude was skeevy. He owned the brothel. You know what I mean?
We
That's all
don't
you
need
need to
to
tell me.
see
He owns
them
a brothel.
practicing when he's having some monologue.
Why in the fuck then did it have to concentrate on them? I'll tell
I,
you, I'll tell you a good use
TNA.
I'll tell you a good use of
TNA.
cinematography that doesn't offend. You
I'm
have it
not saying
concentrate on
that
them.
was a good choice of setup of a scene. I'm agreeing with you that was what the fuck.
I know. Think about it though. Why didn't they just start the camera on them? Okay, look, they're having sex. Then gently roll the camera right to him, and he's talking, and he's just not even looking at them. Okay, that would have the exact same effect. In arguably, looking at his face with absolutely no emotion at the fact that this thing's happening in front of him would be even better of a use of camera work. But nope, had to be the titties. Why? Because Game of Thrones does titties. Fuck you, Game of Thrones. Why you do all the boobs? Good God. There was
I mean,
Okay,
sometimes
listen.
I
I'm
take
not
it
going
you
to tell you
like the
that.
show.
I'm not going to tell you I love the show, but I have to bypass that kind of stuff.
yeah,
The last episode, this isn't a spoiler, this is just something that happens to be there. In the last show, at one point, they're in a pub, and some girl walks by, dressed as Daenerys Targaryen, white chick, blue dress, and she just has the back of her dress cut out, and it's just showing her ass. She's clearly some kind of prostitute, but like she's just walking around with her ass cut out, and the entire scene she's just there in the background, her ass hanging out and stuff. Like I was expecting, is this a porno? Is somebody going to walk up there and spread something? What is about to happen here? What the fuck? Am I watching Game of Cocks here? What's going on? What happened?
Can I just say something about Game of Thrones here?
Yes.
It's just for both of you guys. You realize that it's like a mixture of sci-fi, fantasy,
no,
curricula,
there's no
and
sci-fi there. God, it's fantasy. Fantasy.
it's.
There's not
Hey, listen.
sci-fi. Dear fucking
It's.
God, don't confuse the two. My nerd
I'm
rage.
sorry. It's sci-fi. Maybe correct it. Sci-fi slash role. Because that's everybody's role-playing games from greatest fantasy come to true. But in any case,
Now here's the thing. I want to push something out. I play a lot of role-playing games. I don't like there being lots of sex in it. I think that takes away from it a little bit. I think the fact
I
that there's so
don't
much sex
find.
almost takes away from the realism of the world.
Yeah, for me, like I like playing cute little relationships with characters, but I just do if there's a sex scene, it's fade to black. It's like I just like them being really happy. I'll write detailed smut, but I don't like role playing detailed smut because for me there's a total difference.
Yes. Can I push something out? You just hit on it there. I think what you're saying there is how most people who truly like understand news feel. There's a disconnect. I don't feel like being titillated. I don't enjoy smut where I'm getting my entertainment. I don't want those to be in the same place. I don't shit where I eat. Basically, it's like these two things to me they feel separate. And I think to a lot of people they do. That's why often I think even though Game of Thrones is doing it, I think often people prefer the often the other times most you fade to black and whatnot. I think the reason Game of Thrones is getting so big isn't because of the sex scene, it's because it's an awesome show. Like the
Yeah.
best bits of Game of Thrones are when people aren't
Dragon.
banging. Or dragon, yeah. But
Oh my god.
yeah, I mean I like that, and I feel like I feel like you hit a point there that like to separate like the story from the sex is what they should do, but when you mix it too much, it gets wrong. It's icky. You know what I mean?
all right. So here's the thing. Where do you guys see music in this situation? Because R&B, they do talk about it a lot. Um, rock and roll, not as much as they used to, but then again, rock and roll in the United States has been in the dangerous species list for years now. Where do you think? And this is something that a lot of people still debate to this day. This has been debated since the '80s. Do you feel that the musicians, especially rappers, have a responsibility to tone down or not oversell uh, sex in such a way that it seems to be demeaning towards women?
Um, I must say this. I don't mind them making allusions to sex in their thing. I don't mind them as long as it stays generally, okay. As for actual music, there's this song called "Lick My Pussy and My Clit" or something, and like Miley
Oh,
Cyrus just
really?
started
Wait,
singing
what?
it.
Say the name again.
"Lick My Pussy and My Clit." It's a song. I'm not playing. Like Miley Cyrus sang it a few days ago. I saw like a video of her singing it, and it was just the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. Like, does she think that's attractive? It isn't. It isn't. I've seen actual butterflies on the ground that I've thought were more attractive than her at that point. It was like, dear God, woman. Dear God. Dear God. Like, Jesus. I'm not even that religious, but I want to apologize to God for that. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sorry, God. We done failed you. We are fucked up. Um, but yeah, look, I
This
think
song can't be that bad.
it was bad. If you watch it, like Semi
I'm
Mesa,
not
she's
going to
done
watch it now.
It's bad. It's so bad. I tell you what she's wearing. She's wearing super tight leggings that go down to her knees that are basically see-through, and she's wearing stars on her nipples and a butterfly on her back. And she's like humping the air, singing, "Oh, lick my pussy and my clit, bang bang, diggy dang," talking about how guys do it, so why she can do it. And I was just sitting there like, "You're right, guys do it, and it's probably not a good thing that guys do it. So why are you then doing it? If I walked off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? Are you stupid? Or are you stupid? You're stupid. Fucking
I
hell."
think that
Anyway.
there are double standards like that people can get more angry about certain people doing certain things, but you're right in that, it wasn't a good idea in the first place.
Yeah, don't fucking copy it. I mean, Jesus. Like, it's like saying, like, if you want to be, like, men can have their nipples out, so why can't women, right? I mean, women taking their nipples out technically it's empowered, but why do no one think that maybe it's not right for men to have their nipples out either? I would agree that I don't like seeing a guy out with their chest off. What are you doing there, man? That's weird. Put your shirt on. Put your shirt on, you bastard. Jesus Christ. Um, but look, with the music, I think lyrics should kind of make allusions to it, but I don't think they should make full on. I think if they go full on with words like that, lick my
Lick
pussy,
my pussy. That's
yeah, like
that's
that, I
very
think those
subtle.
kind of songs aren't good. I mean, frankly, the market decides because no one listens to that song. As a sign of that, I feel like with their selling sex, I don't think they should, but I can't blame them that they do because it works.
Yeah.
That said, I want to point out something here that though it does work, it works temporarily. I think the greatest musicians of all time, I don't know any of that I can name that sold their music on sex. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Elvis wasn't very like didn't come off as a too
The
too
hip.
sexy. Like the Beatles weren't. You know what I mean? Like fucking most rock and roll bands, although they had lots of sex, they didn't like sell their music with babes on the covers and shit like that. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like music that's good wins out in the end, which I'm thankful for. I am not, however, thankful for stuff like Anaconda, which is interesting. Um, I must thank Nicki Minaj though because watching her pound her ass on logs of wood, it uh, it made me gay. Very very gay. Like because that was horrifying. Like
What did
I
you say?
realized why she was singing a song about anacondas now because that's the only thing that could fit in there. Jesus Christ! Like you must need some
Okay, let
reach.
me tell you so nerdy about the song. In the Animorphs book series, because everything I'm in has involved Animorphs somehow. The alien character of Axe, since his normal form doesn't involve a mouth, so when he goes into human morph, he basically likes to put anything into his mouth. And so his favorite food of what he says, I think a few times throughout the series, of what he believes humanity's greatest invention is the cinnamon bun. And so whenever I hear, the refrain, buns hun, I just think of him and cinnamon buns.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
I just
But yeah,
can't help it.
honestly, Anaconda is a bad example. It's not. It's not. It's not how music should be. I don't like that. That said, I think we should all be aware that music is different. Sex is something that's very visual. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, very even when with your smut, Joshy, you have to imagine it in your mind. You know what I mean? You can't just read it and have it. You have to kind of imagine. It has to be in your head. Um, and I feel like with music, we don't often think of the lyrics. Like I don't know about you, but the Anaconda song has shitty lyrics, but it's kind of nice. It's kind of catchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like,
the
I can
thing
listen
is
to it
that
and enjoy it a
if
little
there's
bit.
horrible lyrics in a song, but it has a good beat, or the person singing it has a good voice, or I enjoy it,
Yes.
doesn't necessarily have to be a good voice.
Yeah. There's a song.
Then I'll like enjoy it and listen to it again. I mean, when I'm in a down mood at times, I'll binge on Taylor Swift. Like if you ever like walk in and you just hear, Taylor Swift for like 30 minutes or so, you'll say, yeah, she's not having a good day.
um, I'll give you guys an example of what I mean. Music, I don't think relies on sex too much. I think it does, and when it does, it shouldn't really, because music is more than that. But an example of a good song, right, that proves that you don't like, well, why this is possible to get past this. Like songs like Get Low and Anaconda, I can listen to them without like feeling like an absolute scumbag, and even like Blurred Lines because they have nice rhythm and it sounds good.
Like, even if you're one of those people who don't believe it's about rape, there's like this one little line that is like, that is just so horribly written. It's just, I'm sorry, that's like, what, I think the line's like, what rhymes with something. It's
What
like,
rhymes with hug me?
yeah, it's just like, what's, like, I know I'm supposed to be focusing on the rape subtext, so what?
Wait, can I ask you something? Like, how is that related to rape? He says you want to bang. He says you want to fuck
I
me.
know, but it's implying you
No,
can look. Okay, I'm going to explain it, but then later you can look it up. So because other people have explained it in much greater detail.
okay, but real quick,
But
let me get this point across to
basically,
you.
when
He says you want to
like,
hug me. Then what
he's
rhymes with hug me?
basically
What?
he's basically saying it's only from his viewpoint, which means it's not necessarily the woman's, and some of the lines used
Wait,
have
hold,
been
hold.
lines that have been used by actual, people who have been raped, have been
So,
used by their rapists, and
wait,
it's
I
really
got,
disturbing the more and more you look into it.
okay, but I want to go to two things. If it's been used by rapists, I don't think that's a
And then
valid excuse.
they'll like
I don't
imply
care if the
that
word's been used by rapists. I'm still
the
going to use it.
woman is
I
some
got a question. If
sort
a
of
rapist was raping
monster
someone and
when she
decided to say
might not.
Pokemon, Pokemon, a Pokemon, would people stop playing Pokemon? They wouldn't. Because Pokemon is
Pokemon
cool.
are people.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't feel like if a rapist said it is a good enough reason. But on top of that,
But
wait, no.
it's
You're
very
assuming
disturbing
you're
once you.
assuming that the girl doesn't want to bang him. Clearly, within the confines of that music video, she wants to bang him. She's rolling around him like a goddamn cat in shit.
That it's still from his viewpoint.
But then, what you're saying then is it's not okay for a man to say that anyone likes him at all in any
No,
way.
it's basically implying you want me because I'm so fucking sexy. It's
But that's not rape. That's egotism.
I know, but it implies that other things might happen. Again, please read up on it because like I actually need
I
like
think you
5
might
or
have read
10
a
minutes
little
to
bit too much.
sometimes write a good detailed paragraph, and this is something that definitely does warrant looking into. Trust me.
I mean, I have a look, but here's the thing.
Guys, here's my thing. Here's the thing, because I'm here. This is actually getting interesting. This is why I wanted you on this show, Punchy. You're good at bringing up opinions and bringing out debates. Do you feel, with that being said, it doesn't matter what genre it is. Doesn't matter if it's rap, rock and roll, blues, jazz. Well, I can't say jazz because it's really the music alone speaks for itself. Do you feel that certain position, this music in general, that certain genre of music, they pretty much put down women to a very large degree, to the point where all they see him as nothing but a piece of meat.
I feel like there's a two-pronged thing there. Music isn't an art form that people have to buy. Music, much like movies, people go to enjoy. So I feel like the problem isn't that some music genres objectify women, which I think they do. I think rap is real bad with that. Like I think rap has got some problems. Hip hop too, but rap more so. Um, I feel like they do have that problem a lot, and I don't necessarily blame them. Because let's get to the fact here. People buy those songs. People still buy those songs. There are people out there who are going to listen to those songs.
Yeah, my
And,
thing
and
is,
I mean, that's
I'm
why it
bas
works. I feel like it's not. I mean, he's objectifying them, but I don't think the artists themselves are so much thinking that or knowing that. And I don't think the world does either. I think it's more of a this sells, this works. We're just going to keep doing it because why not? You know what I mean?
yeah, my thing is that, I'm against really any form of censorship, so you're free to make, so the artists and such are free to do whatever, but at the same time, I don't have to like it.
Yeah. I'm by the vote with your wallet situation. If you don't like something, don't buy it, don't pay for it, and it'll eventually go away. If it sticks around, people are buying it, people like it, can't complain.
Well, I
All
can't
right, so
complain, but I can complain about other people's shitty taste.
Well, you can't complain in the sense of why is it not gone yet? Because people are still buying it, people enjoy it. That said, I mean, people who are watching this should know you shouldn't worry too much about how it seems like they're objectifying women. Yes, they are, frankly.
Yeah,
But I don't
basically,
think anyone actually knows that, like, believes that. I don't listen to the song Get Low or, like, Turn Down for What or, like, Anaconda and actually think that Nicki Minaj wants my penis in it. You know what I mean? I don't go around listening to that song and thinking, yeah, all ladies want me. Yeah. I don't think that. It's just kind of a nice song. And I think this is more the case with often most of the songs. They're meant to, I mean, even the ones that mostly objectify, they're mainly meant to be power fantasies. You're meant to go into your own imagination and imagine an alternate world where you're cool and everybody wants you and you feel cool, you feel better about yourself. And like, that's the situation. I don't think people actually think these things. I think it's very rare to meet anyone who actually thinks
well,
these
I
things.
do admit that the good people, the normal, the sane people of the world can differentiate between, fiction and real life. Hence, if someone, even though I don't like rape, if someone like has rape fantasies, but they know what works in fiction and what's actually real in real life, I don't mind. I'm just like, you do you, like, way over there.
Yeah,
all right.
I think we got to remember here with stuff like this is that people. I still believe that people are fundamentally good. I don't think that if you give someone this, they're gonna start thinking like that. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
don't
Like,
like, but like, people saying, oh, video games cause violence or video games make you misogynistic or whatever. It's like, or 50 Shades turns people into rapists. It's like you have to make the conscious decision yourself. I've read all the 50 Shades of Grey books, and somehow I'm still alive, and I'm not like, I want to rape.
can I give you a funny example of a situation like that? I was watching a video of a bunch of feminists playing Grand Theft Auto. Now, Grand Theft Auto is notorious because people say it's extremely feminist. Sorry, extremely anti-feminist, misogynist and whatnot, you know? And basically the idea that you can kill women and take their money and stuff. Which, by the way, is bullshit, considering Grand Theft Auto actually is an open world where you can do anything you want. You could kill a woman and take her money, but you could do the same thing to the old man down the street. It's equalitarian violence, you know what I mean? I'm going to hurt everyone equally.
I'm an equal
The difference between
opportunist.
Yeah.
now the difference between Grand Theft Auto though is, and they made fun of this at Video Sins. With Grand Theft Auto, you get caught, you're not gonna get out of jail the next day. Real life, you get caught. Guess what? Last life in prison, or you're dead. There
Yeah.
is no coming back. So I think
We don't
I
actually
think
harm
that's
these people because we want to hurt them. I'm not. I don't kill the prostitute in Grand Theft Auto because I want to hurt the woman. I kill her because I just paid her some money and I want my money back. And I want to buy a bigger gun so I can beat that guy down the street and get more money from him to get more drugs to become awesome and get a bigger car and drive fast.
Yeah,
you're not,
I can't
you're
really
not
play video games, but like some of the open world stuff, I'm watching like Rev Resner play some stuff, and I'm like, I would really like to fuck shit up. That seems fun. Damn my hands.
The feminists, they were complaining often about how like women are objectified, how people can kill women in this game and stuff like that. And I thought they're ignoring the fact that men can die in this too. They're cherry picking their facts.
Yeah,
But what I find most interesting is when they played the game. What's the first fucking thing they did? Can you guess? This is the feminists here. What do you think the first fucking thing they did is?
what?
beat somebody
They
up.
killed a prostitute. Now here's the thing. It was their option. They couldn't have done it if they didn't want to. They chose to do that. And then they were like,
okay,
this game's horrible. You fucking chose to do it, you stupid bitch. That's like saying, hey, I don't like, I got raped and I'm unhappy about it. Well, I mean, you did, like, walk butt naked into the middle of a prison full of rapists. I mean, you did set that situation up for yourself a little bit there, didn't you? It's like, sometimes shit's bullshit, and that was one of those situations.
I'm I'm a feminist myself, but it's just that some people, the people that get the most attention, it's like sometimes it's like, no, no,
Yeah.
because there is problems,
It's
and
all
then
it's
when you
satisfying.
sometimes people try to bring them up, they're like, oh my God, you're against women, and that's why I'm usually silent and don't debate that much on the subject online because I'm like, I could either check out the Avengers tag or I could deal with 50 minutes of bullshit.
Uh,
Hmm.
my method to deal with people like that, I have a patented Oma method. It's called the fuck you method. Um, if someone like inserts those feminist beliefs upon me, or let's say someone's a vegetarian, they start saying, "Oh, you shouldn't eat meat." I use vegetarianism as an example. If someone like starts getting on my ass about eating meat, okay, I will tell them to stop telling me this. I understand, but stop. I'm not going to stop. And if they continue to push the point, I look at them like I've done this. I look straight in the eyes and listen. I'm going to buy an extra meat burger right now. Like that's one more than I would have ordered before. For every minute you bother me, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to actively work against everything you've done. You've created a force right now that's going to return everything you've done back to zero. You are now inconsequential. And then I order another burger. Next day, the veggie burger. So any animal they just saved got killed by their annoying me. There we go.
It was just my half sister is a vegetarian, but she doesn't push like her beliefs on me, which is like I think some of her beliefs are wrong, but I've gotten past the point after like 5 or 10 minutes of saying that.
So here's the thing, was since we're on that subject, do you feel that the people who tries to get things censored or try to use their political is completely out of line, even though the movie they're talking about, isn't as great and is overdoing it in terms.
Absolutely out of line. Absolutely. Don't fucking censor it, you bastards. Like, they did it to a game a while back. There was this game called Pillars of Eternity. And in it there was a kind of a joke on a gravestone about some knight, and this knight apparently had found a girl in a bar and he banged her, and later on he found out it was a guy and he killed himself because he was he was one of those he's from the Middle fucking Ages, you know what I mean? Like if you were from the Middle Ages, you probably would kill yourself because you would be horrified. You're from that kind of world, right? But some social justice warriors decided to say, "Oh, this is horrible," and get it removed.
I
Why the
can
fuck did they do that? What was the point in that? That it was part of the world. That's something that happens in that world. What you go to see a horror movie and complain about the blood. I went to a horror movie and I got scared. Please take that movie down. Well, fuck you. You deserve it, you bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I can admit some things might seem wrong, but as long as it's the time and the place, sometimes certain things we don't like actually happened. Like, okay, I've been binging on game theorist videos on YouTube, and one of those things was talking about the racial profiling in the latest Grand Theft Auto,
Oh,
and
I've seen that. I've seen that.
yeah, and the Matt Pat brought up the good point of saying we should be more concerned that these, racial profiling happens in real life rather than a game that is emulating real life. Because
Yeah,
if
no,
they didn't
it was.
exist in the first place, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah, and also, side note, they weren't there. He checked. They weren't there. Like there were differences, but the differences were actually more to do with the fact that the cops were from different places than they were the protagonists. I mean, it was funny, and the fucking cheat, scary ass white guy got arrested most.
The
Um,
the game theorist one, it did seem to tally up everything and different places, and it was those video. I've been binging on them for like a week.
Me too.
Just like I found one that I was like, I'm going to do another. Just holy shit, a couple hours. And like usually I've been like when I let my computer, rest every now and again, I usually like to read whatever book I am on my Kindle, but then it's like I'm reading a little bit.
All right, so we're covering a lot of stuff here on this topic, and
God,
the
hell.
question now comes into it, and we're almost complete with this topic. I read something on Newsweek which inspired me to do this episode, and Newsweek had a timeline all the way back to Victoria, England style clothing to right now with Beyonce, and they have said, and they had like different areas of advertisements. I am curious about this because I don't see it as much as I used to. I saw a lot in the '80s, especially with beer. Beer and cigarettes always seem to have these type of promotions. these type of commercial style advertisements. The old saying, does sex sell? Many people say yes, but is that actually now the case in today's society?
No and yes. Sex sells in a manner not to which people think it does. Sex
Really?
sells in a manner to which, like, if I think something's going to make me appear cooler, I'll do it. And it's not just
So
because sex sells, it's because I want to appear cooler. And a side effect of that is sex. But obviously the simplified version of that is sex sells. But
so
putting some girl's naked body on a beer can isn't going to make me buy the beer.
all right.
That said, if you had
Let's go
like a
ask
bunch
that
of people
question.
on the side saying, listen, this is tasty as fuck, I'd be like, I kind of want to buy the beer.
But why
Quality
do they put it
over
there?
sex.
Is that not the vehicle though? Because that's what
Um,
they got.
I believe the reason that they use sex to sell things so much is not because it helps sell the product, but because it draws the eye. You know what I mean? If I'm driving and suddenly I look away, is that boob? And I look, that was a boob. And there's a beer can next to it. You might remember the beer can then. You know what I mean? It sells in the same way that those Old Spice kind of adverts spell, because it's ridiculous, out of place, and you notice, you remember. But in that same regard, the Old Spice commercials sell better.
Oh,
A
really,
ridiculous
Josh?
commercial will sell better than a sex one every time.
I'm just thinking of all
Josh?
the Old Spice commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
The
But isn't
guy
those
in
spice
the
a men's?
shower, and then it's like he keeps on like hanging up a basketball, and suddenly there's, long story short, there's suddenly this like Old Spice thing at the very end saying, "Oh, look it is." There's just like so much crazy shit in those commercials.
But
Oh
is it the
yeah.
case now? Do you feel that they moved away from that, or not as much as one would hope, or
I think they've
don't
moved
want
away
to?
from it. I think it's still there, but I think the majority of adverts now are not using sex to sell. I think they use other things. They use like celebrity endorsements, sponsorships. Other people use this. Your TV show has this in it. You know what I mean? It can do this. The internet, they get their favorite YouTubers to sell it. I think sex is the last of an old type set of marketing skills that people use. But it still is used. I think sex sells is used more on women's garments than anything else. I feel like women's clothes get to that. That's where sex sells. It's like you do, like women look at a girl looks at the poster of the underwear and like, hey, that girl looks really good in that underwear. It'll probably look good in me, right? Maybe. And then they buy it, and in that situation, sex does sell a little bit.
It's just like if I want to get good advertisement for a bra, I'm more concerned with how it feels instead of how it looks like. I mean, like if there's no special
Oh,
occasion
I
going
want
on,
to
I
point out,
just
I'm not
want
talking. I'm
more
not talking about like
advertisements
actual
about,
undergarments that you
oh,
wear
this
every day.
feels so comfy instead of, oh, this makes me feel so sexy. But is it comfy? Is it one of those bras that only feels like good for like an hour and then after an hour you're wanting to just die?
No, I'm not. First of all, I want to point out I have no idea what you're talking about. I am a man and I don't have boobs. Secondly, um, I wasn't talking about actual everyday bras. I was talking about how you look at the lingerie section. You look at, oh, look at this. It's for your man who love this sexiness. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know, but sometimes going into the lingerie section is just like for you. I mean, at least simple. I mean, bra. Fuck, I have words and sentences and things. Continue.
why would you buy lingerie for yourself? That doesn't make sense to me.
No, I know. I had a totally different thoughts. Two thoughts were sort of merging together,
Oh, I see.
and I
Okay,
couldn't
yeah.
I'll
edit,
put it
and I
this way.
can't edit it like I would on a blog post.
Uh, Punchy, Punchy. I'll help with this one. Me and you are not going to be caught dead going into Victoria's Secret by ourselves. It would not look good, and in
It
fact, it'd
wouldn't.
be very uncomfortable,
It wouldn't look
especially
good
if
now.
especially if our girlfriend or our wives is not with us. Because the first thing a woman's going to look at is what are they doing here? There's
I have a
nothing here for
plan.
men.
I have a plan actually. See, if I ever need to buy like Secret Victoria's Secret kind of shite, my plan is to immediately go in there, find someone like a waitress or something, whoever the fuck works there, and then I'm gonna be honest. Listen, lady, person, woman, waitress, person, thing. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I have to buy undergarments for my woman. She wishes to look good. I have no idea what I'm picking. I
And
have no idea
nobody,
what I'm doing, and I look like an idiot here. Please pick for me. Here's £10. Please do it for me. Thank you.
Oh,
hey, nobody is
okay.
going to
It's
come in aid in
funny.
that
It's
situation.
funny. When I go to Victoria's Secret to try on maybe a new bra, Revs is like standing out there, waiting, and he has said he's felt uncomfortable. He's like plays on his phone, just trying not to look at
Exactly.
anyone.
Like I said,
But it
there are
was
certain
amusing.
things.
He was wearing a Walking Dead T-shirt one day, and like a bunch of ladies, kept on walking up to him and talking to him about the show.
Probably because that's the only thing that can save them from being totally embarrassed and having women looking at them like, really, guys? It's bad enough you look at the
Horrible. It's like,
brochures.
here's the thing. I thankfully have not had to wait for my mum outside of Victoria's Secret. I have had to wait for her outside of like one of those like shops that sell fabrics and shit, and that's pretty bad. You know what I mean? Pretty bad having to sit out
What
there
shop?
outside of a woman's fabric shop. Like they sell fabrics and stuff for knitting and all that. Like a sew
I
shop
could
or whatever
deal
you
with
call it.
knitting.
Michaels?
No, it's like a Pakistani one. It's a local one. But point is, sitting out there, that's awkward enough. You know what I mean? Like just sitting out there outside of a knitting shop, that's pretty awkward. But like sitting outside of Victoria's Secret's something else. Like I feel like a pervert just for being there. You know what I mean? I feel like if any kids walk by, I'm gonna turn around and make sure not to even look towards them, just in case. You know what I mean? I don't
Remember,
want
it's
anybody
called
worrying about me.
secrets.
Yeah.
It's called secrets. There's a reason for that. It's not for us to see.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Sure,
Victor?
that's why there's some sexy lingerie there, because you don't want to see it.
No, when after the fact that you bought it, not where you got other women buying the lingerie and you stand there like, yeah. So who won the Yankee game yesterday? So, um, but to finish this off, and I might well finish it off right here. I'm gonna leave it for you guys to finish it off. Hollywood today. Where do you see them taking this type, their how they explore sexuality today? Because there's a lot of articles saying that machines and all this stuff, and Hollywood is pushing that kind of possibility for the future. Do you see them becoming more responsible? Do you see them actually going techno in terms of showing certain sex scenes, or do you see them pretty much staying the way they are, not going too much or and not going backwards?
I just
I
see
think it's
Explain.
gonna
them.
stay the same.
I see them just whatever sells, since it's a business. That's what they'll go towards.
Yeah.
They
And
won't.
I
They'll be
realize
not
that the
really
Game of Thrones kick
taking.
has made it so that sex is selling more in the TV shows now than before. But I feel like that's already going away. You know, Game of Thrones, the latest season, way less sex than it used to have. Like, vastly less. So I think Game of Thrones has even realized that it's not working so well. I think it will generally stay the same kind of middle ground of some movies have quite a bit, some movies have not much, most have very little. And I feel like that's how it should be, you know what I mean? Acknowledging its existence and occasionally showing a bit is fine, but let's just concentrate on the bits that matter.
All right, all right. So we pretty much finally got the show that we wanted here. We and
Success!
and we still got time because don't go away. We still got time because we got a couple of things we want to discuss here. We do the usual rumor reel. This is a time where we talk about stuff that, oh, come on with the dog already.
Ta-da. Okay,
uh,
continue.
might as well. Everybody got pictures on their cameras, so this is where we talk about stuff that's actually happening or in the works, or maybe who was once in the works but been scrapped only to come back again. So this is like something that's not guaranteed, but is something that Hollywood is talking about or have already in the process of doing. I'm going to start with this one because this is actually a surprise, and I'm actually kind of happy that they're actually doing this because, let's be honest, when it comes to Sherlock Holmes, we always see him in his prime. He's doing great. But there's also a story of Sherlock Holmes that no one knew about, his retirement, how he searched for retirement, and how it affected him greatly. Ian McKinney is actually going to be playing the latest version of Sherlock Holmes, and it's called Mr. Holmes. It is pretty much back to basics in many ways because it's not like the Robert Downey Jr. Holmes where it was more action than him using his brain and detection
I
skills.
dislike those movies.
So this one is actually going not only showing him in his final days, but it also show his one last case he took with the help of a young boy. This film has a very good cast. It's a BBC film. It is. I don't know if it's going to be scheduled to be released on TV on BBC, but it will be released in selected theaters in the states. Now, many people had mixed feelings on it because they don't want to see an old Sherlock Holmes solving cases. They want to see him in his prime. They want to see him doing good. I like this thing because it shows it pretty much erased the myth of Sherlock Holmes because there was a lot of stuff that people thought um, thought that he have thought of him because of the movies. A lot of movies have added stuff in that became part of his lore, and this one pretty much liberates that situation because we've seen Holmes, the man in this film, and Holmes pretty much confronting the myth Holmes, which is the movies and what his friend and partner Watson has done. So this is actually a film that I'm actually looking forward to. It's called Mr. Holmes, and it shows him at his very final days of him coming to terms with himself, as well as trying to eradicate some of the myth of his legend before he goes. And I'm looking forward for it, especially when you have a star. Anytime I have Ian McKellen, I want to see his film because he's such a brilliant actor.
He's an
I
amazing
think
actor.
he's wonderful, and I think he will do just as just as justice to the Holmes legend than anything else. Now, you obviously saw the trailer, so what's your feeling on that movie?
Um, here's the thing. I can't wait. I love Sherlock Holmes in general, but I mean, Ian McKellen with Sherlock Holmes, that's gonna kick ass. I cannot wait. The movie it seems like it's hitting all the right notes. Ian McKellen is the perfect actor for it. There's really not much to say. Everything about it seems good so far, and I can't wait to watch it.
Josh, I know you didn't heard nothing about this.
No, I actually have only heard, I mean, before today, just Ewan McKellen as Sherlock Holmes. I haven't seen the trailer, and Ewan McKellen as Sherlock Holmes is enough to sell me on seeing the film.
you know, they say I don't know if this is true, Punchy. They said that a British star need to play Sherlock Holmes one time in their career. Is that true?
Well, I mean, you don't need to, but it's definitely one of those things, you know. It's like I don't know. It's one of those like things. It's like saying the best thing you can do in England is like play Sherlock Holmes, technically, because he's like such an amazing character. Everyone loves Sherlock Holmes, so it's kind of an honor to get to play him, you know.
So
It's a
I'm
big
actually
basically. It's
actually
like
looking forward to it. I must say, I'm most surprised that he actually took it. I'm like, Ian McKinnon? Yes, I can't wait. I'm like, I'm so
That's
excited.
all I need to know on the
He is
film.
he is such an actor. It's such a joy seeing it on film. The film that got me hooked on his acting. Um, I don't know if you've seen it, Gods and Monsters.
No.
no, I haven't either.
Oh my God, was that a good film? It was the one time that Brendan Fraser acting was superb. He really did put up a performance, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be mainstream because it's not a film that's meant for mainstream viewing. But if it's in selected theaters, and if you're a person who appreciate acting at its finest, I suggest you still see it as much as you can because it's a very well. He's a well-rounded actor who's very versatile. Now on to the second one. This is more rumor than fact because this film has been bounced around so many times. And I don't know about you guys. I don't want to see it. I really don't. I don't want to see a reboot. I don't want to see a continuation. I
Oh,
have enough
God.
of it. They're searching. They're now continuing searching for the cast of Police Academy.
Oh no, really?
He's been bitching about this for like a week or two at least. Where you been?
Oh God. Can we just all agree that the unanimous reply to that should be no,
uh,
no, no,
I'm not
no,
agreeing
no,
on I
no,
don't
no,
care.
no, no, no.
Listen, I enjoyed the first three during its heyday, but let's be honest. I think Hollywood needs to understand something. Nobody's asking for this sequel.
Not
Nobody's
only
asking
that, I
for a
don't think it
remake.
could be good. Like I think that movie was something about it. It was so fit for the actors and the era and everything about it. You couldn't replicate that. You could not replicate that.
There
Uh,
are a lot of things you can't replicate. There's a lot of things that that you need to leave alone. This is one of those movies, and let's be honest. After the third Police Academy, I thought it was tolerable, but after the third Police Academy, it just went downhill dramatically. I mean, the fourth one is in the middle for me. Fifth one was boring and bad. Sixth one was bad. Seven was just awful. Leave it alone.
Here's
It's
the
leave
thing.
it
Here's the thing.
alone.
Leave me alone.
I don't think any movie series that isn't named Avengers or the Justice League should be really getting to seven. I mean, like, well, Avengers, Justice League, Harry Potter, and Star Wars should be getting to seven and stick down. Okay, my God, there are a lot of movies that are going to get to seven, aren't there? Jesus, when did that happen?
Uh, 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 but they are. This is never gonna go away. This has been 3 years they've been talking about this film, and they just won't leave it alone.
I don't think it'll ever get made. I think people are smarter than that. I don't think it'll ever be made. I think if it will, no one's going to watch it, and we can be thankful for that. It will
Here's a
die silently and alone.
here's a rumor that I'm actually kind of interested in seeing, because there's something that Universal has been tinkering with, but they haven't pushed it. And I don't think they're going to push it for sometime soon. The reboot possibly, and this is rumor. It's not fact, so don't go crazy. I know your fans out there is going to be saying a lot of stuff about this, so just keep that in mind. This is a rumor. Nothing has been put into play yet. A Back to the Future reboot.
Fuck it, I'm done.
Now, the reason why they said that they may possibly tinker on the idea is because this is now it's 40. It's been I can't believe it's been 40 years since the original Back to the Future. They're just celebrating the anniversary now, and there's also a hint that
Has it really been 4 years?
yeah, it's been 40 years.
Shit, that movie was old when I was born.
It's been a while. And the success of the video game, which I don't think anybody know that there was a Back to the Future video game,
I
which
do.
got mixed reviews. It was actually I actually to watch it on for the cutscenes, it's pretty damn good. To play it, I don't know if I will actually
You
enjoy it.
talking about that 2D one?
That was the one we had the Christopher Lloyd came back to be part of this role. He had a young kid. I forgot his name, but he did such a hell of a good job playing the voice of Marty McFly. And the game is actually considered a true sequel to Back to the Future 3 because it is pretty much the sequel of Back to the Future, and the game that became very popular despite the mixed reviews. So that is the reason why you were hearing the buzz of a possible reboot or another sequel to Back to the Future. Now, how would they do this? Because A, Michael J. Fox is not a teenager anymore. He doesn't even look like a teenager now.
Let me say something. I think if they did it, they have to do two things. First of all, they have to have the same cast. Secondly, they have to involve that in the story somehow. They'd have to be, this movie does take place 40 years in the future, and maybe the current Marty McFly, who's older, gets visited by a younger version of himself, who is played by an actor.
Josh,
What?
anything about the Back to the Future rumor?
I hope they don't fuck it up if the movie is made. I like the films, but I'm not like a really huge fan like Omar seems to be. So.
It's Back to the fucking Future.
No, actually, it's Back to the Future. There's no fucking in the title.
I thought it came close. The first one, let's be honest, the first one was dark. I'm sorry. The first and the second one was like dark, and I'm like, well, this is PG. Well,
I just love when, things that are supposed to be safe for children and you sort of look at them and, for a recent movie, like Caroline, the stop motion, with...
That was Coraline.
Coraline. Sorry, I fucked it up. I'm sorry, Neil Gaiman. I'm sorry, my dear Lord and Savior, but yeah, that was got extremely fucking dark at the end. It was like, shit. This was supposed to be for kids. I came in here watching a kids movie, for fuck's sake.
I take it you didn't read the book.
I haven't read the book yet. Neil Gaiman is a good. I've read let's see, his comic miniseries, the Books of Magic, the one comic, the majority of the comics in the whole Sandman series. And I've read, damn, I can't remember it, but it's like a gods in modern day.
Hmm.
And, there's Wednesday and he turns out to be Odin, and I can't remember the name of the book. Damn it.
Yeah, but like I said, Back to the Future, it is definitely in the talking stage. But again, this is talking stage. Doesn't mean they're going to be made. Doesn't mean it's going to come out. But it is something they are thinking about, and it's kind of interesting to see how that's going to work. Other rumors that I think people have heard about and may actually get more of a push now that Keanu Reeves have expressed strong interest in this film, and I'm kind of surprised he wanted to go revisit a film that he'd done so long ago that it was
Tom
actually
Dillon?
was, huh?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted, yep, they're
There we go.
Oh my god, really?
yeah, he wants to do another one. It seems like he has a certain attachment to that franchise. Now, mind you, both films, Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted Bogus Journey, also known, if you go by the original title before they change it, Bill and Ted Goes to Hell, was considered to be a surprise cult hit. Critics actually even liked the film, which was actually surprising because I never thought critics liked a film like that. But it is something that he is really talked about doing, more so than I actually thought he wanted to. And the idea, if you listen to what he was saying, is the idea that everything that was supposed to happen never happened. So that's the idea that's being run about. Oh, they're supposed to be these saviors and everything else. That didn't happen. So then now they're trying to figure out what went wrong. So that is also been rumored to be pushed. Another Hollywood rumor, and this is just a rumor again, is the possibility, and this seemed to be Hollywood seemed to be talking a lot about the '80s for some reason. It's re-exploring Short Circuit.
Really?
Yep, rebooting the series.
I would re-explore that in an animation, like a Disney animation.
Really?
Yeah, Disney animation would do okay with Short Circuit.
Well, short. Would you want to see Johnny Five and cartoon version?
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Because I feel like, I mean, this one day world we live in, I couldn't take Johnny Five seriously as a movie. It would be ridiculous. Whereas if it was a Disney movie, I could probably get around it.
Josh, you've been quiet.
I have never seen any of those movies.
It's only been two Short Circuit films.
I know, and I haven't
Yeah.
seen any of them.
You know the one thing that I remember from that movie, like truly every single time.
What? Here's the
Johnny
song.
Five, please don't die.
Yeah, people didn't
That
like that character back in the days. I can
he's
understand why.
racist, isn't he? He's not Indian or something. He's Australian or something. I don't
Well,
know.
well,
Like
that's what we got.
I find it hilarious myself because I'm half Pakistani. I can laugh at that. Um, but like it was funny because like my uncles thought that was the funniest scene in the movie, so they kept repeating it over and over again. Like to this day, my uncle will sometimes just randomly whip it out, and to me, at this point, I just find it funny by like proliferation. It's like I've seen it so many times. It's funny to me. It has to be, otherwise it'd be annoying.
And the last rumor, which honestly is not a rumor, it's been confirmed. I was going to say rumor, but it's been confirmed. Sylvester Stallone will revisit Rambo one last time. Um, the, ti-
Possibly.
the title is called Rambo Final Blood. Um,
You mean it's Rambo? I didn't have anything better to do this Saturday, so here you go.
so Rambo will get one last hurrah. He is pretty much ending the series, I believe. Keep in mind,
It's pretty what you said last time, isn't it?
keep in mind before the Expendables, he was set to do another Rambo, which was titled Rambo: The Savage Hunt. But he pulled out of it because he felt that there was more longevity for the Expendables series than it was for Rambo. The Expendables series is finally over, and now he's going to do it, which is titled Rambo: The Final Blood. When it's going to come out is still up to grounds. There is talks about he probably will come out after the movie Creed come out, which is the Rocky spinoff, which is set to be released sometime later next year.
Do you know what? I'm actually
So
looking forward to that. Like, I think Rocky was one movie that could continue, and they did find a successful way of doing it.
I'm a
Rocky
little,
Balboa was a pretty good movie too. It went back to
yeah,
the
I love
whole
Rocky
original Rocky
Balboa,
kind
but
of idea, didn't it?
to me, it ended with Rocky Balboa. I think it was a perfect ending. To me, I just feel like I get the feeling that Sylvester Stallone is trying to hang on to the character way too long.
But
Like,
to be fair, to be absolutely fair, they're continuing it in such a way so as it's perfectly fine. It's not Rocky isn't the main character anymore. This Creed is. You know, Rocky is not the trainer. All he's actually doing is giving a lot of backstory to a character that isn't the main character, which is perfectly fine. It's generally on the same themes, but it's an entirely new kind of cast with an entirely new idea, and it kind of has a different character in it. I think of it more as like the Avengers to Rocky. You know what I mean? Like the next step. You know what I mean? That's
we'll see. I, Josh, you got anything to say about this?
I don't really. I haven't. I've never really watched a Rocky movie, and I don't care.
Oh my
You
God!
are dead to me.
I haven't
How do you
watched
not watch
a
Rocky?
lot of movies. Okay, so I'm going to start being dead to
Do
you
you,
for
do you
Rocky
just
or
not watch
Rambo.
good
You're going to have
movies?
to add a lot onto the list.
How many times have you read Animals when you could have been watching Rocky?
Wait. Something was better than reading Animorphs. Now, mind you, back in the day when Animorphs was coming out around 1996, I had to actually have them taken away from me for me to start reading other shit. That's how into Animorphs I was. So, however bad I am right now, I was not even close to how I was back then. If there was a choice between doing anything else or reading Animorphs. I had no friends.
I have one thing to say to you, Jashi.
Just one?
Yes.
Oh, we got a competition here.
Correct.
I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys continue that argument here. Uh, Before we go, might as well bring it
Eye of
back.
the Tiger. You should. Did you, Omar? Have you looked up on YouTube where Jensen Ackles has lip sang to part of that song?
I have, and it's beautiful.
I know. That's just like now. Whenever I hear that song, I think of Jensen.
Really?
You need to look it up,
Hey,
Jocker.
would you like to know something funny about Jensen Ackles? Well, something I consider funny.
Yeah.
He's weirdly short. Like,
Who?
I'm taller than him. Dean from Supernatural.
Really?
That plays Dean, he's shorter than I am. I find that so weird.
Yeah, it's like when actors are filmed, they'll sometimes, make them appear either shorter or taller. Like Hugh Jackman went to Comic-Con dressed up as Wolverine, and people wouldn't believe it was him because he was too short or too tall or something. He wasn't the right height, so no way you can be Wolverine to Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine.
Yeah, that makes sense. But still, it's so weird to me. I didn't expect it. I expected him to be like 6'3", like two, like that, like way higher. Well, not way higher, but higher than me. So yeah, just weird little thing. Jared Padalecki is a
I'm,
fucking giant though. So
Moose.
while you guys are, I'm actually trying to look for the box office results. Yes, I'm bringing it back. For some reason, I can't find it.
Google.
Because that's what I'm
Google,
doing.
give me the box office results, damn it. Screen.
Yahoo is not giving me nothing. This is why. This is why it's not my homepage. I'll take Google as a search engine because they do good at it. So let me see, because I gotta confirm if this is actually true, and if this is true,
Box.
what do people see in
And
these
Pitch
women?
Perfect too.
Yes, I gotta know.
Daily Box Office Mojo. Okay. Sunday, May 17th. Let's see if the damn. Okay, now I have to.
There it is. I got it.
I got it first. And I was searching for a shorter amount of time. I
All
win
right.
something.
Now keep in mind, guys, I don't normally I do box office results, especially in this show on a Monday, but since we're doing it on a Sunday, what the hell with it?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Um, I actually was sworn that the report said that Max actually have done well. Was number one, and then I found out that it was not Mad Max. It was Pitch Perfect. I am stunned how much money this movie has made. All right, now keep in mind, Mad Max has a big budget, so I'm hoping they can actually make this budget. It's going to be very, very tough. So, Punchy, do you have the? Do you want me to send you the link so you can be with us?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the link because that way, I just realized you don't have the link, and it don't
Nope.
make no sense. I'm gonna send the. I'm gonna see if I can send the. You is your Skype still open?
It is.
It is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sending it through our to our group page. You should see it right there. You should have it right there.
Got it.
I'm gonna wait for
Box
it.
office. Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
All right, so are you on that? Are you on that page now?
No, it's not been sent yet for some reason.
We can surprise Punchy and have him, guess it. Guess
Actually,
each
that's true.
one.
Yes, make it a game.
Okay, you
You
win the
got it.
internets if you get them correct.
Okay,
Okay.
now here are the top five. Here, I'm gonna talk about the top five as much as possible because
Okay,
I
just
do
have
have a
them
problem.
guess each number as it goes.
All right. Pitch Perfect made $70 million. It is number one in the box office.
Alright. Number 2 is Mad Max, correct?
Mad Max is number two. Now here's the thing.
No, it
Matt,
says Avengers Age of Ultron on mine.
no, it's just number three in Age of Ultron on mine. Like I
Okay,
said,
let
is it?
me get your link. God. Okay, if my phone actually wants to work. Come on, you fuck. I mean, like, god damn you fucker. Now the fucking thing won't fucking open because. Oh, okay, what page are you opening to now? I clicked on something and now I'm not sure what it wants to do.
Your phone is sensitive to the touch. What can I tell you?
No, it's a cunt. Okay, I might have. Fuck, okay,
Uh,
so hang on a sec. I have to actually clear
okay.
whatever data is on. Actually, God damn it! I'm going to turn
You have
my
too many
phone
cookies.
on and off.
You
And
have too many cookies.
no, it's my phone actually sucks. The long story short, so I have to constantly be clearing data like once or twice a day.
Hey, Punch, you got that kind of problem too?
Pardon? I didn't hear.
Did you have that kind of problem with your phone too? You got to clear out data.
Yes, that happens all the time. Among other problems, my phone's a dick.
It's just like all I want to do is like check up on like this one thing, and it's like, nope.
All right. Well, while you're checking up and wanting to catch up, I might as well tell you that Mad Max Fury Road, so far as it stands, because this is not the official tally
Oh
yet.
God. Okay, hang on. It turns out that I forgot if I'm charging the phone like I just was, and I turn it off, then it won't turn back on unless I unplug it.
What kind of phone do you got?
Skynet. Continue. I'm sorry, my phone.
All right. Mad Max Fury Road is the film. It's the first Mad Max film in I think almost 25 years. It debuted very strong, but not as strong as I think that the WB production would want. It's $44 million, 44,440,000 if you want to count that. However, this is the big problem. Guess how much it cost this movie to make? Any guess?
Money.
300 million.
150 million.
Damn.
They made 44 million right now. What are the chances of this film actually making its budget?
Nearly impossible. If they don't make it back, most of it back in the first few days, they done fucked it up.
hmm And it's kind of strange because I'm looking at the I'm like, really? It cost them 150 million to shoot dirt on
But
dirt road?
let's not forget. Let's not forget, however, that Mad Max is going to be a movie that most people buy on Blu-ray. I guarantee it's going to be a movie my parents get that they aren't going to go to the movies to watch. People who want to watch Mad Max, people who are not going to go to the movies to watch it.
Now let's see. Let's see how it works well with the films. Avengers: Age of Ultron slipped to number 3. It made another 38
Now
point.
the icons aren't fucking. Okay,
The,
now the icons finally loaded.
okay, you're doing good. You're getting there. Number
Okay.
3. Avengers: Age of Ultron made another cool, crisp $38.8 million. This film already surpassed its budget of $250 million. It made $372 million as we speak. So, uh, keep making those Avengers movies. People definitely want it. This is the film I heard about, didn't really care about. Number 4 is Hot Pursuit. This film is again as a Warner Brothers film. It made another $5.7 million. Its budget is 35 million. It draws 23.5 million. It could make its money in due time, but it's going to be an underperforming film no less. I still can't believe this is a sequel. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Uh, I, I am look. I'm stunned this film is out. I really am. This film made $3 million, but it still made its budget. It was only $30 million to make. It made $62.9 million. So they made their money.
Yeah,
I'm still,
I actually went to a movie theater and I found the one Paul Blart fan, so they exist.
I'm still stunned. Um, Furious 7, also known as Fast and Furious 7, in certain other regions, drawing 3.6 billion. This film cost 190 million. This film made 343 million. I do believe there will be an eighth Fast and the Furious movie on the works. That dropped down to number 6. Now, I love to see what films failed at the box office sometimes. Um, it's just a hobby of mine. So far, hasn't been too many films that have done that. So far, Cinderella has done pretty well. The Longest Ride is a film that came out in 6 weeks. That film just made its budget back. I never heard of this film before. Maybe you have heard. Have you heard Monkey Kingdom?
I have not.
Monkey Kingdom?
Yes.
That was a Disney, animal film. So yeah, I saw a preview once in a theater.
hmm
It's basically
Kingsman.
that I think the monkeys have to relocate, and it'll probably be yet another nature film that takes away all the bad parts of nature and makes them look cute and friendly instead of monkeys that eat their young.
Well, these are the films that came out. A lot of films came out in independent. Animals came out. The Connection came out. Um, the 7-5 was released as an independent film. Adults Beginning. The Hunting Grounds. Blackbird. These are all films that also came out. Didn't do pretty much the independent circuits. There's some did okay for an independent film, some not so much. Adult Beginning actually cost only $1,000 to make. It
Yeah,
made 3,000. It
I
made three
actually
thousand
want
dollars.
to see Ex Machina. I think it's at number 9 on the box office, and I've been interested since the teaser trailer, but I have not had a chance to actually go see it.
Hmm. I think
It's
it's gonna be honest. I don't know how many theaters it's playing.
it's just so and I hear good reviews, and it's just like I want to see it. It's about this AI and twists and turns, and I need it. I need my robot fix.
Now, I don't have the list of. I do not have the list of coming attractions, so I can't really say what will be a hit or miss. So I probably will save that for next week. Um, from what I'm seeing with the movies, there is a film that I'm actually kind of curious about because I don't think this film is going to do too well, but it is coming out this June. I don't know if it's coming out in your region, Punchy, but I'll say anything because I know you've seen it on HBO.
Go
What's your
ahead.
feeling? What's your feeling of an Entourage movie?
Uh, it could work. It's not something that needs to exist, but it could work. I'd watch
Uh,
it.
in the theater or you rent it?
I'd rent it. I wouldn't watch it in the theater.
Because I can't see myself going to see that movie. I mean, I didn't hate the show, but it's like Sex in the City. I'm not watching in theaters.
Because other
Yeah,
people will
it's
judge you, and
No,
that's
it's just
what
that
your girlfriend
there's
is.
certain. It's not even that. It's just certain films I just can't spend my money to sit there and watch it. Because I wouldn't even sit there and watch a movie of The Sopranos. And they've been talking about that for years, and then obviously that's not going to happen now because the main character has passed away. But
It could be
it,
about his reincarnated spirit.
it's just I don't know. It's just when you see it, it's like it should have been a made-for-TV movie. Like I would not go see Saved by the Bell the movie in theaters.
Taco Bell, I'm hungry. Crunchy tacos, fiesta potatoes, diarrhea. What?
What was that?
Nothing. Sorry, I'm hungry. I've been hungry since around 4:30, so I've been thinking of food. And you said Bell, and I think Taco Bell, and I think of the only two things on the menu that don't cause me diarrhea. So
All right. Well, next week I will be bringing back the box office results as well as the coming film that's going to come out. We are now in full swing of the summer box office. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's only a few films I think is going to make a big hit. I don't think every film is going to be a massive success. Pitch Perfect 2, which surprised me, it made 70 million, even though they're hiding the budget for some reason. I don't know why. Show the budget. You made your money.
Pitch Perfect 2 is it doing really well. Doesn't really surprise me because the first movie had a nice sized following, and that following got super excited when Pitch Perfect 2 was announced. So it doing well isn't. Plus, Mad Max is a much older, less recent series. So yeah.
What? Punch, you got anything to say about this?
I don't know much about this kind of stuff. I am sadly out of my element.
I haven't seen the first Pitch Perfect movie. I probably won't see the second Pitch Perfect movie, and I've seen parts of the first Mad Max movie. So I'm just looking at people's reactions and how they would react in certain situations. So
it made money. I'm stunned it beat out Mad Max. I did not expect that to happen.
Teenage girls, my friend, they're a powerful force.
Yeah. Unfortunately. All right. Now, they will be.
Teenage boys are buying video games. They're not. They're saving their money and they're going to the movies and ruining cinema. So,
yeah.
Thank you, teenage women, and fuck you all.
Well, hopefully Mad Max makes his money, otherwise it will be the first big flop of the summer.
I don't want Mad Max to fail. I would like to see it once in theaters. I don't know if I'll be able to, but it's just like Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron. I need to.
Hopefully, what villain is he playing in the Suicide Squad?
He's not. He left it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about that next week.
There was like what was it called? Problems with timing and all that.
Oh, we gotta talk about that next week. And yes, there will be a show next week. Without Jashkin, Jashkin will be with family.
Not family. My fiance better than family. Damn it.
All right. Well, still family. But we will have a show. We will have. I will try to get a special guest. Punchy pretty much will be here. We will talk about that latest development that week. And also we'll bring up another topic. Oh, by the way, we will be discussing it 1 week in advance what topic will be, so everybody has a heads up on what it's going to be. Some news forums will be back again as usual, but it's going to be something a little different. In all, I hope everybody has a great, lovely weekend. I know mine's is pretty much hot. I don't know what's going on in jolly old London. From what I understood, it was still raining.
It's always raining in England.
Yep, pretty much. Rain, go away, fuck my ass another day.
But before we go, I might as well let my guests and my co-hosts do some shameful promotion, starting with.
Shameless. I have no shame.
You got a parrot on a dog's head.
That's not. I don't think that would technically be a parrot. Cute little.
A parrot with a cat trying to reach for it.
There's a snake.
You got any promotions you want to share?
Me?
Yes,
Yeah.
you.
Oh yes, I do. Ready to roll as usual. It's rolling on forward. We do games every Saturday and usually Sunday. This Sunday we didn't, sadly, as two of our members were out, and me as well, technically. Recently, I've been GMing a lot more games. I GM, in other words, run the Monster of the Week game, which is a modern day monster hunting game in the style of Supernatural, which is really fun. Several people nearly died. It was quite horrifying. There was a dead person and a were lizard. It was really fun. People died. It was great.
Oh gosh.
Next week we'll be going to a city to find out where the fuck the were lizards came from and maybe try not to die this time. Yeah, check it out. Ready to roll. YouTube.
Shotskin, you're up.
I'll be advertising two of my things on my blog. The first, of course, is Josh Reads. I released two chapters on when technically it would be really, really early Thursday morning. So more of my dramatic reading of Animorphs #1, The Invasion by Kay Applegate is out. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel Josh Reads, that would be awesome. I need a subscriber or two. And I'm doing a 4-part blog series focusing on the Brutasha ship in Age of Ultron, and the first 2 parts are out, so go check that out. Show the ship some love.
All right, and as for me, I am actually back in the blogging field. I just did my Mother's Day Matic Express Yourself, Automatic Expression. I will be working on other blogs, which I'm currently working on. I'm also going to be doing a review of a certain movie. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be pretty much more on the independent division. I feel that the independent movies ain't getting much love with the critics these days. I think it's time that they get a voice, both good and bad, so you yourself can check it out and be aware that these movies, even though they are in a very small market and played in a lot of independent theaters, they exist and they are at least worth checking out, especially if they are going to be pretty much close to award worthy, which, let's be honest, a lot of the movies that have been coming out of late has been Academy Award worthy. I mean, winning these awards more so than the mainstream. So I'm not gonna tell you what the movie is, but once it comes out, you will know immediately. And that's it for this special edition of J&J Mondays. Tune in next week. Josh, of course, will not be here, but I will be here. Punchy, hopefully,
Yeah.
will
Oh,
be
if
joining us.
you're in the area of Hollywood Studios and going to Star Wars weekends, which is the only reason you should be going to Hollywood Studios while Star Wars weekend's going on, because it is extremely crowded. And if you're not going for that event, just stay the hell away. If you see, a beautifully dorky, nerdy girl going around in a motorized electric wheelchair, that's me. And I'll be signing autographs for like the 1 or 2 people that give a shit.
You heard it from her, folks. Again, this has been a fun episode. Real pleasure with my co-host. Always a great pleasure to be there. We had a fun time with this one. And until next time, guys, this is J77 saying take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. Say goodbye, guys.
Adios, amigos.